Tribe, Book 2, Todd Mills Mystery. Author, R.D. Zimmerman. Publisher, Scrib Pub, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Narrator, Eric Aust. Chapter 32. "Don't worry," said Jeff, his voice hushed as he and Janice stood in the small kitchen of his bungalow. "He'll be perfectly safe here. I'll be gone most of the afternoon, but I'm sure he won't have any trouble." Janice stepped around the corner of the white refrigerator and peered into the living room, where Zeb was still seated on the couch feeding Ripka. They'd arrived only 10 minutes ago, and Ripka had cried until she had a bottle. "It's not just that," whispered Janice. "I want you to keep an eye on him, too. I don't think he'll bolt, but I really don't know. Girlfriend, what is it with you and this kid and his baby? You're really hung up on them, aren't you?" As she leaned against the white formica countertop, Janice felt Jeff's suspicious eyes upon her, and she glanced back in the living room, avoiding his inquisitive, gossipy look. Janice turned and looked past the tiny round breakfast table and out the rear window. No, Todd wasn't the only one she had to tell about Zeb. Todd was the first, but then there were all her friends and even a few business associates. "I'll tell you about it later." "There's a big secret there, and don't tell me there isn't," replied Jeff, a catty twinkle in his eye as he took a quick sip of Diet Coke. "I just love dirt, particularly by the truckload." "Sorry, now's not the time. For now, I just don't want you to take your eyes off Zeb." Jeff stepped over to the sink, peered into the other room. "That shouldn't be difficult." "Knock it off, Jeff. This is serious, very serious." Okay. But we're opening a new show tonight, and I've got a rehearsal this afternoon. Blizzard or not, I can't miss it." Jeff looked at the clock on the microwave. "The guy who does the lights, Pedro, is coming by in 15 minutes to pick me up. He's got one of those cars like Todd's, you know? One of those macho things with 4 wheels that all spin at the same time. Unfortunately, that means Zeb will be here by himself." "Can he go with you?" Well. Aren't we the little Miss Mother Hen?" "I guess he can. I mean, the more the merrier. He can either watch and applaud or stay in my dressing room." "Good. Do you have a phone down there?" "How about a beeper? I'm sure we could get one and padlock it to him." "I just want to be able to reach you in case anything comes up." Jeff rolled his eyes, grabbed a paper napkin, and scribbled down a number. "This is the phone in the dressing room. Let it ring a long time, or call back if I don't answer." "Thanks. Let me talk to him and straighten this out." She leaned forward and kissed Jeff on the cheek. "Thanks. You're worth your weight in gold." "That must mean I'm priceless," he replied, pinching his big waist. Janice slipped out of the kitchen and into the living room where Zeb held the baby against his shoulder. She walked around the television and sat down next to him on the couch, sinking into the deep white cushions. "Sometimes it takes her forever to burp," said Zeb as he patted Ripka's back with a sure, steady movement. "Did she eat?" "The whole bottle. She must have been starved. Do you think I should give her more?" Janice wished she had more experience in these matters, and she said, "Actually, I think Father knows best. This is all a little bit new to me. You know." Suddenly this rumbling started, and then a huge belch erupted out of the baby's tiny body. Janice and Zeb looked at each other and burst out with laughter. "Wow, that's the best one I've ever heard her do," said Zeb in amazement. "I never got anything close to that when she was at my house." She reached over and gently rubbed Ripka's back. "Do you know what a great dad you are, Zeb?" "Thanks. Even though I was raised with a bunch of religious nuts, Mom was really great." And he stopped, his brow tightened in a mass of deep furrows. "I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you." "Don't worry. You didn't. All of this was hard, so hard." Janice wanted to both do and say everything right, and at the same time not show how much she hurt inside. "She is your mother, and she did a wonderful job raising you. You're supposed to call her Mom." "Then what do I call you?" "Janice?" Just sounds so distant. "Well, we'll have to work on that. The distant part. After all this settles down, I hope we'll spend a good amount of time together." Zeb smiled. "Me too." "Good." Janice hesitated, then said, "We've got a lot to talk about, or I do anyway. There's a lot I'd like to try to explain." "Okay. Looking at him just now, she saw that there was still so much of a young boy left in him. Okay, and yes, he wanted to hear it all. He wanted to know everything, wanted to understand just why he'd been given up for adoption, and Janice would try her best to put it all into perspective for him. After thinking so much about it all these years, after reading so many books and articles, she hoped she'd have something intelligent and comforting to tell him. Unfortunately, said Janice, we don't have time right now. Jeff has to go downtown to a rehearsal, and I'm hoping you'll go with him. I'd just feel better if you and Ripker weren't alone. There have been so many problems already that I don't want you here by yourselves. She hesitated, then added, Plus, to be perfectly honest, I don't want you taken off. I just don't want to lose you again. Sure, we'll go. Jeff's rehearsing for a drag show. It's at a gay bar. The gay times, but at this time of day it'll be empty. Is that okay? You won't have a problem going in there with him, will you? Zeb shrugged. That's fine. Trust me, I know a bunch of the queens down there, and they're all real sweet. They'll probably fight over who's going to babysit Ripka. Zeb started to laugh, then stopped. Can I ask you a question? You can ask me anything. Well, are all your friends gay? I guess a lot of them are, with a grin she added, but some of my best friends are straight. He obviously failed to see the humor and asked, What about those two guys last night, the ones who came out to the hospital? Yes, Todd is a very old friend, one of my closest and, well, most important friends. She put her hand onto her head, told herself to leave it at that for now. He and Rollins are dating, actually. Oh. She saw the seriousness wash back over his face. He's not, she prayed, drifting away, is he? I'm not losing him over this, am I? He said he didn't have trouble with her sexuality, but maybe he did. Maybe he simply couldn't identify and articulate it. Janice sat there trembling inside, fearing that she was losing him, even as she was watching. Mother has baby, mother loses baby, mother finds baby, who's now a young man. Mother loses him again because... Does it... Zeb started to talk, stopped, tried to formulate his concern. Does it matter to you that I'm, well, different than you? She studied him, wondering, is he asking what I think he is? Zeb, I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Janice, I'm straight. Do you care? I mean, does it make a difference to you? Staring at his beautiful young face, so innocent, so desirous of love, the question took her by surprise. What he wanted to know was just so simple, so honest, but at first, Janice couldn't think what to say, merely because she'd never pondered the issue from that side of the fence. Oh my God, Zeb. She reached out and took one of his hands in hers, felt herself choking up. It doesn't matter who you are or who you love, whether you're gay or straight. Then she had to stifle a small and incredulous grin, for she never ever expected to be saying these words. Sweetheart, I just want you to know how incredibly proud I am of you. You don't even know how much I love you, she paused and added, and how much I hope to one day earn your love as well. But you already have, he said. Earned it, I mean. At the same moment, they were both reaching out, birth mother and son, embracing each other with the small baby cradled in between. Janice felt her granddaughter squirming against her, felt the strength of her son holding on to her, and was amazed. To her, it was a miracle, this sense of fullness that she thought she had so long ago abdicated. I'm sorry to break up this little love fest, kiddies, but this girl's got a song to sing. My pal Pedro will be here in any minute. Janice and Zeb pulled back to see Jeff standing in the doorway, a small cosmetics case in hand. Janice wiped her eyes with the back of her right hand and said to Zeb, "Oh, okay, you stick with Jeff, and he'll make sure everything's all right." That's right. If anyone tries to hurt you, interjected Jeff, I'll beat them with my pearls and tie them up with my feather boa. Zeb asked, "But when am I going to see you again, Janice?" "Soon. I hope all this will be over real soon." A Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold. To offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides. and in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.